You have probably heard of Julius Caesar. You have probably heard of Augustus. But there is a Roman general who came before both of them, who never lost a single battle in his entire career, who saved Rome when Rome was on the edge of extinction, and whose name most people cannot even pronounce. His name was Publius Cornelius Scipio. History remembers him as Scipio Africanus. And this is the story of the man who did what no one else could do. The year is 216 BC. Rome has just suffered the worst military defeat in its history, the Battle of Cannae. 70,000 Roman soldiers killed in a single afternoon by Hannibal Barca. The city is in mourning. The Senate is in panic. Allies are defecting. Rome is bleeding out, and Hannibal is still sitting in Italy, undefeated, untouchable. Into this disaster walks an 18-year-old boy. His name is Scipio. His father and his uncle, both Roman generals, have just been killed in Spain fighting Carthage. The Roman army in Spain is leaderless, demoralized, and close to collapse. The Senate needs someone to take command. No one volunteers. The situation is too desperate. The risk of failure is too high. Scipio volunteers. He is 18 years old. The Senate looks at this teenager and sees no other option. They give him the command. Rome sends a boy to do a general's job? What happens next will define the rest of history. Scipio arrives in Spain in 210 BC. He does not immediately attack. He watches, he studies, he learns how Carthage operates, where their armies are positioned, how they supply themselves, what they expect. He is patient in a way that teenagers almost never are. And then he makes a move so audacious that even modern military historians struggle to fully explain how he pulled it off. Carthago Nova, New Carthage, the most important Carthaginian city in Spain, their supply base, their treasury, their political center. The city that everything in Carthaginian Spain depends on. It is defended by a garrison of 10,000 men and sits on a peninsula surrounded by water on three sides. Every Carthaginian general assumes it cannot be taken quickly. The three Carthaginian armies in Spain are each several days' march away. They believe the city is safe. Scipio attacks it in a single day. He brings his entire force to the walls in the morning. He launches a frontal assault to draw the defenders to the main gate. Then he receives a report, possibly from local fishermen, possibly from his own scouts, that the lagoon on the north side of the city drops to wading depth in the afternoon when the wind changes. He sends 500 men with ladders through the lagoon at low tide. They scale the undefended north wall. They open the gates from inside. The city falls before the three Carthaginian armies can even begin to march. In one day, Scipio has captured the treasury of Carthaginian Spain, their entire stockpile of supplies, their hostages, their shipyards, and their political center. He is 26 years old. What Scipio does next is as important as the victory itself. The hostages in the city, Spanish nobles and their families held by Carthage to ensure the loyalty of local tribes, he releases them. All of them. Unconditionally. He sends them home with gifts. He asks nothing in return. The Spanish tribes, watching Rome treat their people with dignity instead of as property, begin switching sides. The human terrain of Spain starts to shift beneath Carthage's feet. This is Scipio's genius. He does not just win battles, he wins the people around the battles. Over the next 3 years, Scipio defeats every Carthaginian army in Spain. At the Battle of Baecula in 208 BC, he uses a tactic no Roman general has used before. He pins the Carthaginian center with his weakest troops and sends his best soldiers around both flanks simultaneously. Sound familiar? He is using Hannibal's own method against Hannibal's own people. The student of Cannae has become the teacher. At the Battle of Ilipa in 206 BC, he refines the tactic even further. For days before the battle, he marches his army out at dawn, forces the Carthaginians to form up in the heat, then marches back to camp without fighting. He does this repeatedly until the Carthaginians relax. They stop forming up quickly. They stop taking the morning deployment seriously. Then one morning, Scipio reverses his entire formation. He puts his best Roman troops on the flanks instead of the center, the opposite of every previous day. The Carthaginians, still half asleep and expecting the same routine, form up in their standard order with their best troops in the center. By the time they realize what Scipio has done, his flanks are already sweeping around theirs. It is Cannae, perfected and reversed. The Carthaginian army in Spain is destroyed. By 206 BC, Carthage has no army left in Spain. Scipio has cleared the entire peninsula in 4 years. He is 29 years old and has never lost a battle. He returns to Rome. He is elected consul, the highest office in the Roman Republic, at an age so young it is technically illegal. The Senate bends the rules because no one else has his record. And then Scipio proposes something that makes the Senate's collective blood run cold. He wants to invade Africa. He wants to take the war to Carthage itself. The Senate is terrified. Hannibal is still in Italy. still undefeated, still dangerous. The cautious faction, led by the old general Fabius Maximus, argues that invading Africa with Hannibal still loose in Italy is insane. What if it fails? Rome cannot afford another disaster. Scipio's argument is simple and brutal. Hannibal is in Italy because Carthage sent him there. If Rome threatens Carthage directly, Carthage will recall Hannibal to defend the homeland. The way to get Hannibal out of Italy is not to fight him in Italy. It is to make Carthage afraid. He is right. The Senate, reluctantly, gives him permission, but withholds full support. Scipio raises his army largely through volunteers, men who believe in him personally. He sails to Africa in 204 BC. In Africa, Scipio does what he always does. He watches. He learns. He negotiates alliances with local Numidian kings, securing the cavalry he needs. He trains his army. He studies the Carthaginian and Numidian camps outside the city of Utica. And then, in 203 BC, he launches one of the most devastating surprise attacks in ancient military history. He sends word that the peace negotiations he has been conducting have broken down. While the Carthaginian and Numidian commanders believe talks are still ongoing, Scipio attacks both camps simultaneously in the middle of the night. He sets them on fire. The camps are made of wood and reed. They burn catastrophically fast. Soldiers pouring out of burning tents run directly into Roman swords. Between 40,000 and 60,000 men are killed or captured in a single night. It is not a battle. It is an erasure. Carthage panics and does exactly what Scipio predicted. They recall Hannibal. Hannibal, who has spent 15 years in Italy undefeated, who has been waiting for reinforcements that never came, who has watched his strategy slowly fail from a distance, finally sails home. He has not seen Carthage in 16 years. The two greatest military minds of the ancient world are now on the same continent. Both know a final battle is coming. Both prepare. They meet at Zama in 202 BC. Hannibal has 80 war elephants, more infantry than Scipio, and veteran soldiers who have fought across two continents. Scipio has better cavalry, a battle-hardened army, and something else. He has spent months preparing specifically for Hannibal. He trains his infantry to open lanes in their formation, gaps just wide enough for an elephant to run through. When Hannibal releases his elephants, the Roman lines part. The elephants charge through harmlessly or veer sideways into the Carthaginian cavalry, causing chaos in Hannibal's own ranks. In one moment, Hannibal's greatest weapon is neutralized. Then Scipio's superior Numidian cavalry, under his ally Massinissa, routs the Carthaginian horse and swings around to hit Hannibal's rear. The same encirclement, the same closing trap. But this time, it is Hannibal inside it. Hannibal loses, for the first time in his life. After Zama, Carthage surrenders. The Second Punic War is over. Rome is safe. Scipio returns home in triumph and receives the name that history will remember him by. Africanus, the conqueror of Africa. He is 34 years old. He has never lost a battle. But Rome is a complicated place for heroes. In the years that follow, Scipio's enemies in the Senate, men who resent his popularity, his independence, his way of operating outside traditional Roman norms, begin attacking him politically. They accuse him of bribery, of misusing public funds, of acting more like a king than a Roman citizen. The accusations are almost certainly politically motivated, but Scipio, proud and exhausted, refuses to dignify them with a defense. He withdraws from Rome. He retires to his country estate at Liternum. He tells the Senate he will not return, and he never does. He spends his final years away from the city he saved, bitter at the ingratitude of the republic he served. He reportedly asked that his body not be buried in Rome. The city that owed him everything did not deserve his remains. He died around 183 BC, the same year as Hannibal. The two greatest generals of their age, enemies who never stopped respecting each other, died in the same year, both in exile, both abandoned by their governments, both greater than the political systems that used them and then discarded them. Here is what you are left with. A man who volunteered at 18 for a mission everyone else refused, who took an unbreakable city in a single day, who learned from the man who nearly destroyed Rome and used those lessons to save it, who defeated the greatest general in the ancient world in the only battle they ever fought, who won every single engagement of his military career and retired undefeated. Rome feared Hannibal for 15 years. Rome was saved by a man who studied him, understood him, and beat him at his own game. His name was Scipio Africanus, and you should know it.